With the Pokemon card market on fire as of late, it's interesting to think of where things might be in a year's time. So many sets have made incredible gains over the last 3 months, especially when looking at the Sword and Shield era. But will these prices continue to rise? Today, let's take a look at the Sword and Shield era and make some predictions on the value of each booster box by the end of 2025. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. The Sword and Shield era has been on fire as of late. It seems Pokemon as a whole has just been on fire. There is not nearly enough products for everyone to collect. So many more people coming into the hobby, and it's just driving prices through the roof. Since we're at the start of a new year, I thought it might be fun to take a look at the values of all these different sets and try to predict where the value might end up this time next year at the end of 2025, early 2026. It's definitely going to be an interesting year for the Pokemon TCG. The fact that the supply just isn't there is going to make it a lot more difficult for all these new collectors to get product. They're looking back at older sets, what was cool, what's awesome, investors as well, where can you make a buck? And the Sword and Shield era is a great place to look. I'm interested to see if the graphs are just going to keep going up on like everything, or if some stuff is going to crash hard in the next 6 to 12 months. I think it's going to be a little while, but I do think the Sword and Shield era is going to be pretty safe considering it's way out of rotation. None of this stuff is going to get reprinted. It's just whatever's out there is what's out there. So I'm going to start with this video. We're going to do Sword and Shield era. If you guys like it and you want to hear predictions for the Scarlet and Violet era, I'll make a video on that next. But yeah, we're not going to go over every single set. We're going to go over all the main series sets and, basically Crown Zenith and Celebrations. I don't really see much potential for Shining Fates, Pokemon Go, or Champion's Path. I just feel like those sets don't have enough to offer where people are going to be going to them before looking at other Scarlet and Violet sets or some of the big hitters from Sword and Shield. So we'll start off with the easy ones. We'll bang through these. Sword and Shield base. Right now it's sitting at about $330. Similar to what I just said with Shining Fates and like Pokemon Go, I don't think there's enough in Sword and Shield base to really drive people to pick this up and drive people to purchase it at a higher price than what it's at right now. I think it's going to see some natural movement considering it's an older set. There's not a lot of it out there, but the people who are picking it up are people that probably just want it for a sealed collection. I've been humming and hawing about buying it because it's the only Sword and Shield booster box I don't have in my sealed collection. But at the same time, is it really worth it to me at $330? I don't think so. So my prediction is it'll raise a little bit. I'm thinking maybe 350 to 400 range, but I definitely don't see this bouncing past 400. Next up, Rebel Clash, sitting at about 230. Again, I don't really see this one growing much. It is a little bit shorter printed. There's less of it out there. It's not that great of a set though. There's no alternate arts. There's no, amazing rares. There's nothing really in there. A couple gold cards that are cool, but your big hits like basically just boss's orders. My prediction is this one will see very minimal growth, maybe $250 by the end of the year. Darkness Ablaze has surprisingly jumped up over the last couple of weeks. Right now, it's sitting just north of $180. I feel like this one has more potential to grow, but at the same time, if you're looking at a Charizard set, you can do Champion's Path, you can do Brilliant Stars, Darkness Ablaze, Obsidian Flames, even Paldean Fates, 151. Like, there's way more options for better Charizard cards at like the same price. I don't really see this one growing much more. I'm going to expect the value to be at about 210, maybe a little bit more at the end of the year. Next up, Vivid Voltage sitting at about 160. This one has a bit more to offer. I think the amazing rares are a little bit slept on, and I feel like there is potential for newer collectors to look back at the amazing rares and think they're kind of cool. It's a bit of a throwback style, it mimics the regular cards, your regular uncommons, your regular rares, but it has that cool like rainbow spiral or paint splatter. There's variations to it, but I'm a big fan of these. I think they're cool. I do feel like you could pick up the full set of amazing rares for like really cheap though. I haven't checked the cards in a while, but I'm pretty sure they're only like $5, maybe $10 for the Rayquaza, but most of them are like in that $2 to $5 range. I'd expect Vivid Voltage to boost up a little bit. I'm expecting maybe $200. I do think there's a lot of it out there. It was reprinted pretty heavily late into its life cycle. People didn't really want it, and I think that'll hold it back. Like I said, there's not that much to offer in this set other than the Rainbow Pikachu and those amazing rares. Next up is the first Sword and Shield set with the alternate arts, and that is Battle Styles. Battle Styles is sitting at $145 right now. I'm pretty sure it's still available on the Pokemon Center. I feel like there might be potential with this set to make a play financially. Again, like there's not a ton to offer. Yeah, there's the alternate arts, but basically you have Tyranitar. If you like Empoleon, there's Empoleon. The Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX alt art is really, really cool. But as a whole, it's very heavily focused on the Urshifus, and I think that holds the set back drastically compared to what we're going to see in the future alternate art sets. Just like Vivid Voltage, I feel like this one is going to be at about $200 by the end of the year. Now on to a way better set, we've got Chilling Reign. Again, heavily focused on a Sword and Shield DLC, the Crown Tundra, but this set has a lot more to offer and some great spins on fan favorites in the legendary birds. The Galarian Moltres alternate art is my favorite card from the Sword and Shield era, and that's in this set. There's also the Galarian Articuno and Zapdos. There's the Ice Rider and Shadow Rider Calyrex cards. The Shadow Rider VMAX is really, really nice. You've also got Galarian Rapidash, Slowking, and I'm sure other ones I'm forgetting about. Oh, the Blaziken, of course, the Blaziken, duh. Alt arts are really hot right now. I feel like a lot of them are a lot better than the special illustration rares. I think a lot of people really like the alt arts. I mean, I'm a fan, not just because I collected heavily during Sword and Shield, and that's kind of where I like dove deep into Pokemon cards. But as a whole, like from an artistic standpoint, I think there's more to offer from the alternate arts. There's something better about them than most special illustration rares. But Chilling Reign, dude, these boxes have bumped up like crazy. Back in November, they were $230. Now they're $330. I'm expecting this one to continue pretty strong. I think a lot of people were talking this time last year. They're like, Chilling Reign is still slept on, and I think it is one of the best. It's definitely a top 5 Sword and Shield set in my opinion. I feel like this one is going to be like $500 around the end of the year. Next up, everyone's favorite Sword and Shield set, Evolving Skies. This set was just too good. There's way too much in this set. All the evolutions, the Rayquazas, the Dragonite, the Noivern. There's some not so great cards like the Duraludons, the Medicham. I feel like I'm probably missing one or two. There's like a lot of alt arts in this set. But man, with the continued success of like the evolutions, with prismatic evolutions coming out and pull rates being so difficult, and I feel like every alternate art evolution is better than the prismatic evolution special illustration rares. I don't see people like ripping a million packs of prismatic evolutions because I just feel like it's way too expensive. Like right off the rip, you're looking at a $20 pack and you got to open like 1,000 of those to pull an Eevee or something like that. What do they say? It's like to pull a specific SIR, you're looking at over 2,000 packs. That's just absolutely crazy. Like, I guess it is similar with Evolving Skies. Like, you're not going to hit an alt art very often. It's definitely not going to be one in every booster box, maybe not even one in every 2 or 3 booster boxes. But I think the artwork is a lot better than a lot of the prismatic ones, and I feel like that's going to drive this setup even higher. Sitting at about $1,200 right now, just shy of $1,200 at $1,190. I think this one's going to steadily climb. I could see it sitting above $1,750 by the end of the year. I don't know if it's really going to hit $2,000. I know there's some for sale on TCG Player at $2,000, but it seems like they're going for around $1,200 right now. Again, if more of it gets opened up, it's just going to keep going up as Umbreon just seems to have it just keeps shattering the glass ceiling. It's like everyone thinks it's going to slow down. There's like 14,000 of them in a PSA 10 and it just keeps on going up. It easily doubled in price in 2024 and it looks like it's just going to keep climbing. And again, with so much to offer in Evolving Skies, the price is just going to keep going as well. My prediction, yeah, I'm sticking to it, at least $1,750 by the end of the year. Next up, I want to squeeze in Celebrations. I don't really think Celebrations is going to climb a ton in 2025, but I think in 2026 it's going to see a big spike. This is kind of a cool throwback, like best of Pokemon set, right? Like it could have been better, could have been worse. I think it is a nice throwback, like a nice return. I think anyone who's new getting into the hobby might want to revisit older sets, and this is a great way to do it. ETBs are still affordable. They're like $115 right now. My prediction is at the beginning of 2026. Like I said, maybe not in 2025, but sometime in the next 12 to 18 months, this is going to be a $150 ETB. I feel like it's still a strong one. I feel like it's kind of undervalued because you've got to remember there's 10 Celebrations booster packs, but there's also 5 other Sword and Shield packs. I think it's typically Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, and Battle Styles, but it adds a little bit of extra to the set. I think this is a good one, and like I said, I think it'll go up in the next 12 to 18 months. Back to the main series sets, we've got Fusion Strike sitting at about $490 right now. This set is insane. Over the last 3 months, it has gone over doubled in price. You're looking at a 125% increase. It was $140 at the beginning of 2024, and now at the beginning of 2025, $480, $490 in some cases. I know the graph is a little messed up here. I'll throw the 3-month graph. I don't know what's going on with the 1 year on TCG Player. But yeah, Fusion Strike seems to be the set that everyone is pushing to be number 2 in the Sword and Shield era. It's hard to argue it. It's got the Gengar, it's got the Mew, it's got the Espeon. Like, there's some pretty nice cards in this set. I don't think I would choose to open it over something like Brilliant Stars or Chilling Reign, but a lot of people love Gengar. Any Gengar themed set is going to see hype, especially Mew as well. Mew's a very popular Pokemon. Having the 2 alt arts in there helps. And that Espeon, again, the PSA 10 of the Espeon is like $1,000 now. Insane. Any set with an evolution, alt art, special illustration, rare, whatever it is, a rare evolution card is going to see a premium. I think we're going to see this one end the year, end 2025 at number 2 in the Sword and Shield era, and I'm guessing it's going to be like $750. Next up, Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars, I feel like is the biggest sleeper. To me, the Trainer Gallery is the best of the whole Trainer Gallery block. Like I said with the evolutions, it's got a bunch of evolutions in there. They've all seen a bit of price growth over the last month. You've also got a Charizard chase. You've got the alternate art Charizard, the Rainbow Charizard. You've also got alternate art Arceus, which is a really nice card. The other alt arts aren't that great. I think you got Honchkrow and Lumineon, if I'm correct. Like I said, not that great. Could be way better, but still a really good set. And I think the Trainer Gallery really shines on this. I can see this box moving quite a bit over 2025. Right now, it's going for about $270. I'm thinking it's going to hit $400 by the end of the year. Next up, Astral. I feel like Astral's a different story. Again, focused on not really DLC, but it's focused on Legends Arceus. It's got these Origin form Pokemon. It's got these Hisuian forms. I just don't think it's that special. Basically, you just have the trainer galleries for Starmie and Garchomp, and you also have the Machamp alternate art. I know there are some big Dialga and Palkia fans, so the Dialga Palkia alt arts might show some strength. It might bring people into Astral Radiance, but to me, it's pretty weak. Right now, it's sitting at $215, the cheapest of the trainer galleries. I'd expect it to still rise. I think it's going to hit $300. It might go a little bit more, but I'm going to go with about $300 by the end of the year. Next up, Lost Origin. I feel like a lot of people really, really like Lost Origin, but I just feel like it doesn't have as much to offer as some of the other sets like Chilling Reign or Fusion Strike. The trainer gallery is nice. It does have that little Gengar card, the basic yellow border trainer gallery card. It's got Pikachus, like the Pikachu V, Pikachu VMAX are very cool cards. It's also got that Giratina, but I feel like other than the Giratina, there isn't really that much. The Aerodactyl, scratch that. The Aerodactyl is really, really cool. I think it's still a slept-on alternate art. But Lost Origins, like I kind of touched on, a lot of people were pushing for this to be the number 2 Sword and Shield set. I just feel like it's not really going to be there. Right now, $380 for a box. Like Fusion Strike is crushing it, and I think Fusion Strike should be ahead of it. But I feel like Lost Origin is going to perform better than Chilling Reign. I think there's just more popularity there with the Giratina. I'm expecting this box to be about $600 by the end of the year. And the last main series set, but not the last set we're going to talk about, is Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest is kind of lacking. Basically, you've got the Lugia and the Rayquaza. The Lugia alt art is really nice. I think it is one of the best alternate arts. It's a lot easier to pull than some of these other ones because you had those Silver Tempest God packs that were like all over America in like a variety of products. I've heard of people pulling like multiple Lugias and they're not even cracking like hundreds of packs. They're just like, grabbing a few packs every time they're at the grocery store and getting Lugias. But since that Lugia is sitting at about $250 right now, I feel like the Silver Tempest box is just going to continue going. It's at $240. I think it's going to be about $400 by the end of the year. I feel like it'll be on par with Brilliant Stars, but I feel like at some point Brilliant Stars is going to take over. Like I said, there's nothing too crazy in Silver Tempest other than the Lugia and that Rayquaza Trainer Gallery card, but something about Silver Tempest as a whole is enjoyable to open. I think the artwork all around is really nice in that set, but I feel like eventually it's going to be taken over by a bunch of other sets. And now the last set I want to talk about, one that's seen drastic growth in the singles over the last couple of weeks, and that is Crown Zenith. Now that Crown Zenith is like finally selling out, like I think we've looked at it like this for a long time. It is the perfect way to culminate the Sword and Shield era. Not really having alternate arts, but having a 70 card subset of basically like a super trainer gallery. It's the Galarian Gallery. They don't necessarily have trainers, but like those gold Galarian Gallery cards of like Arceus, Giratina, Palkia, and Dialga, they're amazing. They've all seen incredible growth. I think Giratina has basically doubled in price since the last video I made on Crown Zenith like 3 weeks ago. The Mewtwo as well has seen tremendous growth. The ETBs right now are about $85. I have a feeling these are going to keep going up. I'm expecting like $120 by the end of the year, but I feel like they could go for more. It's really going to depend how the market plays out. Like Sword and Shield era is a lot safer than Scarlet and Violet because they're not going to reprint this. But I mean, Crown Zenith, there's chances that more product is going to trickle out throughout the year. But we're about to hit the 2-year anniversary as well, so I think it's going to be rare. I doubt there's going to be a reprint, but it also doesn't need a reprint. Like why even bother reprinting this set? I just feel like there's probably still some supply for this at, you know, MJ Holdings or whatever distributors. I know people are saying distribution has nothing right now, but big box distribution is more what I'm talking about. Like maybe there's more Reggie Drago boxes. Maybe they're going to have whatever those MJ Holdings, like 3 mystery packs, and they'll throw some Crown Zenith in there. Who knows? I feel like there's still a chance you'll find product out there over the next little while. But like newer stuff like 151, I feel like isn't as safe. Same with like sets like Paldea and Fates or Temporal Forces and Surging Sparks. For crying out loud, Surging Sparks, I feel like it definitely is nowhere near safe from a reprint or some sort of restock. I do think this year is going to be a bit of a roller coaster. I think we're going to see some tremendous gains on a lot of sets, but I feel like we're going to see a lot of dips after those gains on some of these sets. Like if people really, really double down on a set like Temporal Forces or Twilight Masquerade, and then there's a massive dump of booster boxes, it's really going to affect the Scarlet and Violet market. But at this point, I feel like the Sword and Shield market is very safe. I don't really see a lot of these boxes dropping down much more than they're at now. And especially like we're in the era of rip and ships. Like there's a lot of people ripping thousands of packs a week online. They're going to be buying as much Fusion Strike as they can, as much Evolving Skies as they can, Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, whatever's popular at the time. They'll be happy to buy cases and rip it for their customers. And the more that gets opened up, like I mentioned, like thousands of packs are getting opened up every day on social media, probably tens of thousands of packs. The more and more that gets opened up, the better for sealed collectors, sealed investors as well. And like I said, Sword and Shield is safe. Like usually in the past, it's been like a 3 or 4 year window for reprints. And like Sword and Shield, especially once we hit competitive rotation, there's not really going to be a reason for the Pokemon TCG to revisit any of these sets. So that's going to be the end of my little ramble here. Those are my predictions for the Sword and Shield market in 2025. I think everything is going to be above what it's at right now. I don't really see stuff dipping. I feel like you could potentially see some stuff jump up and then back off a little bit, but time will tell. This is going to be a crazy year. I'll go over my top 5 sets and what the value is going to be at the end of the year here, just to kind of summarize, recap the video. I've got a little bit of a tie on my list at number 5. I think Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest are going to be very, very close for number 5. If I were to choose, I'd probably choose Brilliant Stars at number 5 at about $400. From there, Chilling Reign, number 4 at $500. Lost Origin at number 3 for $600. Fusion Strike, number 2 at $750. And I think it's obvious Evolving Skies is going to stay number 1 forever. And I think the value is going to be about $17.50 by the end of 2025. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, like as always. And if you've watched this far and you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm really close to 4K. Help me get there. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back with another video in a couple of days, so stay tuned. And again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.